having her house set today.
Do you want me to watch notes or do you?
Sure, here you go. You need a pen? So I'll call a meeting to order, evidence of proper notice, it's listed on the top there in the highlighted area. It's posted in, go ahead and read off what it says.
I'm reading it.
Here, let me see that piece of paper. It's posted in the Intercounty Leader
Oh, there we go. I was still.
on October 5th, and then it was posted on the town's website on the 7th of October, and then out front here. Join me in the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Dave Berg,
Here.
Stacy Berg, or wow, this is.
Stacy Bergman present.
Oh, I see what it's doing. It's cutting it off. Rick,
Yes.
Kevin's here. Kyle's not. Gus, nope. Jeremy here, and Mike. All right.
Present. Alright, take a look at the agenda, and if you're ready to approve it, I'll take a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Alright, is there a second?
Second.
Alright, everybody in favor? Aye. Did you guys have a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting on the 13th of July?
Yep.
Alright, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
A second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Anybody that's not on the agenda, recognition of audience, anybody would like to say anything before we get going? Alright. Item 6 is a request for a minor subdivision. That's, let me pull this back up on the maps. Where are we at here? Oh, fine. I think we're gonna invest in a new computer here soon. Alright. So, paper, the applicant.
Andrea?
Yep.
I'm representing.
Alright, got anything you wanna tell us about it before we gotta open up a public meeting, or public hearing, so.
Alright.
Go ahead and tell us what your
We're
plans.
selling the property, we wanna keep the other remainder,
So you're selling this chunk here?
no, we're
Or-
selling the 3 acres. with the
Just
house
this,
on.
just where the house is
Yep,
here?
and we're trying to keep the rest of it as pristine as I can keep it, cause I own the bottom, or the northwest corner as well.
Yeah, you back here, right?
Yep,
Okay.
so we're just trying to sell the house to the people who are from Centuria.
Okay.
They could only afford 3 acres, so.
Got it, so you're just cutting up
Yep.
3-acre chunk off of this, everybody's got survey maps in front of you.
Yep.
On the survey map, they got the road listed wrong, so we'll have to straighten that out before it gets recorded.
It says 345th Avenue and it's 160th.
Yeah, it says, it's got the wrong,
Okay, I don't know how that got there, to be honest with you.
okay, I mean, it probably came from the surveyor, I guess.
I would assume it's a surveyor,
Yeah, so
It's definitely 160th.
yeah, so if it goes through, that'll have to get corrected before it gets registered.
How do I correct that? Or is that my job, or should I come here and deal and talk with the gal who?
I would assume that you'd have to get, because it's gotta be a certified copy from the surveyor.
Okay,
Yeah, you'll have to get a hold of the surveyor and then have them also check, because if you click on your lot and you click on, and then you got your acreage here, you're off by like 4/10 of an acre, so you wanna make sure that that all coincides.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll have him do that, so.
alright, so then Adam, do you think he has to come back here to get it? So,
With
gonna-
correction?
who's gonna verify that it's correct?
It'll come to the town board next week, so we can
Okay.
have it done by then.
Okay,
Okay, so I got a week, I'll come back next week
yep, next
and
Wednesday,
make sure it's 160th, not 340th.
correct, 345th.
And you guys can recommend approval if you want.
Yep.
subject to those.
Is there anybody else that has any
Corrections.
comments on the public hearing for splitting this parcel off? Alright, so we'll close the public hearing portion. And, you guys have any discussion on?
What is our minimum lot in the township? That's my only question.
5?
Go ahead. This is it. You've got it there, 3,
It is 3,
in this
and
district.
this is the minimum.
Yep.
So, okay.
Any other questions?
I have one.
What's,
Do I have to hang around for the rest of this, or can I go?
you got work to do, you can go
I
ahead.
really, I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no problems.
Anything else, gentlemen and ladies?
No problem.
Thank you very much for your time, guys.
Alright, thanks. Does anybody have a recommendation on this?
Recommend approval, with the, correction of 345th.
Second?
I'll second it.
Alright, everybody in favor, roll call? Do we have a roll call, or can we just do a general pop?
You should do a roll call, but I can do it if,
Jeremy,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
me, yes.
Aye.
Carl's not here,
Aye, yep.
and Mike.
Alright, so it'll go on to the town board next week. Next item is item 7, discussion on amending agricultural district special exception. Is the racetrack to include similar uses? Is anybody here for that? What can you tell us about that one?
So we operate a karting on ice experience. We're currently in Stillwater.
A what on, what?
Go karting on ice.
Go-karting on ice?
Yes. So people pre-book, general public, they come and ride the carts around on ice with studded tires, supervised go karting. We're looking for a larger location, and we've been talking with Rick Massel, who's the owner at St.Croix Speedway right now, with a view to trying our business there for 3 months over the winter, and then potentially looking at that as a permanent location for year-round activities for the Speedway. And so I think Janet had spoken with the town council, and I think it was his recommendation that to permit that, or at least to begin that process, would be to make an amendment to its current status or use.
The current use is that the grandstands, it sounds like, has significant repair that needs to be done, and we have no use of the grandstands, so if it's in similar uses, we could cordon it off, make it safe, and we'd be on the opposite side of the property.
Okay,
yeah, all you guys are looking at approving tonight is, really doesn't have anything to do with their specific use. It's that the zoning ordinance, the way that it's written, would not even allow for them to do what they're doing. So in order for you guys to even, for them to apply for it and for you guys to consider it, we'd have to amend the zoning ordinance to allow for similar uses or you could be specific and say for
well, I think our
go-kart
ordinance,
ice races, but similar
Yeah.
uses would do
So it's
it.
very specific.
but I mean, I think our ordinance only it says for races, and they could only have one race a week or something.
That's actually in your racetrack
Okay.
rules, which is slightly separate from the zoning ordinance, which we're just dealing with tonight is the zoning ordinance.
Okay, so this wouldn't fall under, if we approve this, it wouldn't fall under the racetrack ordinance, it would just be what?
So if you
Recreational
approve
use.
this, all you're doing is approving that you could issue, if you wanted, a special exception for uses that are similar to a racetrack.
Okay,
So what would happen is if you approve this, then your zoning ordinance, and the town board approves it, then the zoning ordinance is amended, then they can apply for their use, and then you can apply those kind of conditions to their special exception.
got it.
I thought we did something like that for like bicycle races and that type of stuff, Adam, or am
Not
I
on-
incorrect?
Not in the racetrack provision.
Not in the racetrack
Yep.
provision, okay,
Yeah, that was a
I think they were like for one time only races.
yeah,
So I wasn't here for the race
Yeah.
track part of it, but like, currently you can't have races there. If somebody bought it and wanted to make it a racetrack, they can't have races there?
They can, there was a time where you couldn't because that had expired and the special exception had went away and it hadn't been listed as a special exception, so it lost its grandfathering.
Okay,
Rick came in about a year ago and said, hey, I think I'm gonna restart races, so we had to change the ordinance to put this racetrack back, to put it in for the first time ever, actually.
okay.
And just put it in and said racetrack is a special exception. It doesn't say or similar things, and Rick hadn't talked about doing other things there, so it's pretty narrow right now. This will broaden it a little bit so that you guys could conceivably approve something
But
like
this
this.
is still racing, it's just a different kind of what is currently being raced
Correct.
there, so.
Yeah, it's
So we
not,
we could amend it to say, as an example, go-karts, dirt bikes, or what are we looking to?
You could, the way that we,
for the
All we're
special
looking at
exception,
tonight
they
is
bring it.
to get a broader break range for that piece of property, right?
But is similar, is that too broad, too generic?
Well, whatever does go in there has to come back
Right,
here
understand.
and go to the
Yeah.
board, so I mean, then I think would be the time to scrutinize what and
There's-
parameters.
The
So we're
special
just
exception would be
recommending that we
usually
should-
what they
okay.
want, right?
right, so if you guys said, you're right, you could be more narrow or specific and say, you know, racing or go-karts or dirt bikes or snowmobiles. But what we found is when we try to do that, we miss the one that actually gets applied for, so we just said or similar uses, and as Mike says, they can do a special exception, and you can decide at that point, but you guys are the
Chicken
boss.
race could be in the.
Yeah,
In
there's
theory.
Sounds really
That's
fun.
what it is.
we'll add it to the list. Yeah.
That's what I'm,
Yep.
dog
It might be
race,
simple.
whatever,
Yeah.
so.
So all we're saying is that it's okay to have races there.
No, we're not even saying that.
It's
We're
saying
just
it's okay
saying
for them
that,
to apply for
Per-
a
permit.
permit.
Okay.
no, we're just
Okay.
saying that we're gonna change the verbiage to
The
say,
verbiage. Similar use.
similar uses.
Okay.
And then after, if that gets approved, then they could come and apply for a similar use.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that correct?
You got it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, I got it.
Somebody,
Well, I'll make a motion to add the verbiage similar uses on the racetrack.
yeah, does that go to the whole property then?
What do you mean?
Would that be for that whole parcel?
Right.
Oh, no, this isn't even
This is
tied to the
your-
parcel,
no,
this is
no.
just, okay. Yeah.
This is just, so if you look at your zoning ordinance, it's going
Yeah.
to say in this specific district, these are permitted uses, these are special exception uses. One of the special exception uses that is listed in this district is racetracks. Now it will say a special exception use could be a racetrack or something similar.
Or similar uses.
And you'll remember probably, Jeremy, you weren't here for this, but when we added that, there's already a provision that says, except racetracks can only exist on the property where it has already
Already been a
historically
racetrack.
existed.
Yeah.
I read that was in here, so I
That's
saw
why I
it.
was confused.
And this is related to that same provision, so that same provision or similar would apply to that.
Okay.
So is there a second to Rick's motion?
I'll second it.
Alright, roll call please.
Dave,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes,
Rick,
Yes,
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Mike,
Alright,
you seconded it?
so it goes on to the board next week.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks guys. Next one is item 8, discussion adding to the agricultural district a special exception for automotive maintenance and mechanical repair facility.
That'd be me.
Alright,
I'm Todd, my wife Michelle. My folks have 40 acres out on Leo Street
okay,
off of County Road I. There's a portion of land there that we intend on buying, and my dad's letting us build a small shop, just a 2-bay shop. We started the process of getting the business started, and she called the zoning, I think her name's Janet, and she said that we needed to come here and that,
that's that one little chunk of green that pops down there.
if you punch in 1764 Leo Street up there.
It's like right across, I gotta get to the right world here.
There's 4 houses, it's on a dead-end road,
Yep, you're right.
and the whole east side of Leo Street, we're the only dwelling on that side.
Okay. This is hard to get lost in like 5 seconds.
Grizzly Hill Street coming up.
That far away?
Right in the center,
This one here?
yes, sir.
Okay. So it's right at the end of that dead end?
No, it's actually not. Is there a way that you can zoom in a little?
Sure.
So,
So your arrow is just to the right. If you go to the left, you just passed it.
Okay.
Right there.
It's right in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, that gray roofed pole shed is where it would be.
Okay. Right in here.
Yes, sir, right there.
Okay.
It's currently zoned agricultural.
Yes, sir, it is.
This is nearly the same exact issue that we just
Mhm.
covered in that it's not a permitted use and it's not a special exception use in the ag district. So before they would even be able to apply to do this, you'd have to add this as a special exception use. Once it's added, then they could apply to have a special exception to do this.
Got it.
We also looked to see if there was anything similar in the ag district that we could maybe fit them under, so you wouldn't have to amend the ordinance, and there really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the map there on the wall, it's that one little green chunk that pops down, otherwise everything else is what transitional around it.
Right.
What does that mean?
It's just how it's zoned, so what's allowed in each zoning area, what you can apply for. So
Everything to the west of you is approved, you could do this, everything to the east of you can do this, just not where you are.
Really?
yay!
As of right now, so.
I don't know if that's true, I'm not sure that's allowed in transitional either, I was just gonna pull that up.
well, it isn't.
I thought
Oh,
transitional can be
That's what I
changed
was
to,
thinking too.
Yeah, but that might be grandfather.
That might be grandfather.
Yeah.
okay.
I'll look, you guys can keep on with your discussion, but I'll
Okay.
look.
So, somebody wanna make a motion to,
Well,
add it or not, you wanna discuss
well,
it?
I just got a couple of questions possibly. Is this something that we would just do for just this parcel or?
No,
could
it
go-
would, it would be open for other people to apply for once, if we chose to
Okay,
allow it in the ag district. So if somebody wanted to open up a repair shop in the ag district, they could come and apply.
alright.
It makes sense. I mean,
So
there's
it's-
farmers, right?
Yeah, I know,
In the
but,
ag district.
And then the other question I guess that I would have.
so this would
is
be
if-
the whole ag district, not just this parcel.
The only other question then is, you know, if he's gonna open up something like that, what does he do with waste oil? What does he do with tranny fluid? What does he do with
I would
antifreeze?
believe, and
Who
Adam can, Adam can
covers that? Is
probably-
that the DNR or?
yes, I know. The other repair shop that we were talking about is scrutinized by the DNR and, I think the county too, isn't it, Adam?
They may do some, but really the way that you would deal with that is through your conditions in your special exception. So if you were concerned about operating hours, vehicles left outside, screening,
Correct.
lighting, how many cars are there, disposal of oil, all of that can be set out as conditions in your conditional use permit
So
that
we
they would
would-
have to abide by.
We would recommend whether we want this or not to go to the board would say yes, and then it would come back to the plan commission for
Approve.
parameters, right?
Yes, if the ordinance was amended such that this was allowed, they would then apply, then it would come back to you after their application, that's correct.
Got it, okay.
Gotcha.
And at that time, we would set, just like you talked about, you know,
Alright.
if there were screening and, waste
Alright.
products, what the rules would be for that.
So the idea behind this is that you wanna turn this into a commercial,
Just a-
Location?
No, just a 2-bay shop, just a
but
small
you're running a
shop.
business, so would it have to be commercial then?
No,
No.
it would be a special exception still in the ag district, so somebody would have to come apply to it for it.
Okay.
So, almost every place that I've worked as a mechanic, it's just a pigsty. And
Yeah.
in order to change my work environment, this is the only way that I know to be in control of that, so. You know,
Yeah,
we're-
no, we get it.
We get it.
Just to answer Jeremy though, I mean, so each person, if it goes on and it gets approved, each person that would wanna open a shop would have to come and apply for a special exception to do that.
Right. They're not changing it to a commercial location
No.
or, you don't have to have that to have a business there, you just have to have an exception.
They have to come and ask for a special exception.
It'll have to get change of use to it, the commercial building. So it'll have to go through state plan review and,
Even on an existing building?
yeah, that's why it's change of use.
So what does that mean?
If you're open to the public, you'd have to, yeah. How tall are your side walls?
12 feet.
Yeah, so you're probably, I'm kinda measuring 70 by 26, does that sound about right?
It's only 2 bays. That whole building is, I'm only using a portion of it.
It's the whole building that would count though.
Okay.
So, yeah, what he's saying, basically, if it's open to the public, then it has to be safe for the public to
Walk around.
Yeah.
go into.
You okay? Yeah.
Mike, show me on the map where this is.
Yep.
I think it's,
This doesn't matter for a vote, but it will matter later, so if you start opening up this can of worms, every farm could open up a shop,
Yeah, well.
which is
that-
fine,
I don't
it's
have a-
just,
I don't
we
have
still
a
have to approve each one, so.
This is transitional and this down here, but there's this in between it.
So
right?
this is County Road I.
Yeah.
It's, well, actually, it looks like it's right in transition. I think that ends at Rock Creek.
Must be just into here. You're thinking
The south end of the property is adjacent to Rock Creek.
Yeah, but that'd be this border here, so it looks
Oh, I
like,
thought we were down in that
it looks like
little
you would already be in
piece.
transitional.
Why is she wanting to amend that?
That's, so if it, yeah,
So what does that mean?
so it might already be okay, it might already be a permitted use in the transitional area. So we might not have to do this, if it's in this
So
yellow.
what is the difference between transitional?
It means so, just on what you can apply to do in there. You know, we don't wanna take the ag land and develop it into certain things,
Right.
but the transitional area, you can develop more types of businesses in that area.
Wanna keep the ag land ag.
Yeah.
Show me where you are.
Yes, sir.
There's Leo and there's 180th or County Road I. Where are you
It's like
relative to
on the
this?
south end of Leo.
Yeah, so they're just down here
Yep,
into the ag.
so this looks like Leo just barely goes into the ag.
Right. Yeah, and they're right at the end and then down here, so they're right probably in here.
Okay.
Do you own the whole parcel that goes all the way up here? Or do you?
No, there's the 40 acres, and then I think there's,
So it might just be this little square here.
That's why she did that, cause she didn't wanna spot zone it down here.
Okay.
We'd have to probably do this whole chunk to rezone, so this is probably a better solution. Okay. I assume I mean, we
So I
can
was
ask
wrong
her,
with
but-
what I said. He said you were down in the bottom chunk,
yeah.
where
Yeah,
you
but-
are, it's all ag, all the way across there, so.
Well, it turns ag about the Rock Creek border, but you're,
Who owns the property just north of you?
Bronis, Keith Bronis.
Do you farm it?
No,
Is that the man across the street?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, it's pretty rocky right there. We've tried to farm the
Rick, can I
field
pull
that's
up
to
lot
the
of
west, or
information
to
on
the
here?
east there, and it's all rock.
Okay.
In
Where?
fact, on
Why
that
can't I
square
pull up
there,
lot
if you see the
information
little
on
cropping in the
Hit the
top
eye.
right.
I do, I,
That's a
here,
rock pile.
To the right,
I can't
do I
see it.
identify?
Keep going.
right
Right
there, oh, back, right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Identify it. There you go. Click that button. Now
Yeah.
click on the parcel.
I don't think you clicked the eye.
Click the eye.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So- This mouse, you gotta double click everything and it's
Okay.
a pain in the butt.
It didn't take it because the hand's still, see the
Yeah,
hand?
easier.
There, now you got it. Now click on that parcel.
Alright.
There you go.
Okay. But that's showing this whole, whoops, that's showing that whole parcel.
Yeah, and then the little square below it that's cut out is where my folks live.
Okay, but your shop is gonna be in this parcel.
Yep, and if you follow that line straight up,
Yep.
where the little cutout is, where my folks' place is, that would be that area.
Is that north border 180th? Right there?
Is this one?
That's
in-
County Road I.
Yeah,
And your shop where you're gonna do this is located in there?
It's
it's
right
right
there.
here, but part of that parcel,
You can't even see it from Leo Street or from.
no, I know,
You could rezone that whole parcel and not have a spot zone problem. In a transitional. What I think maybe you guys could do is approve this so it can move on, and that
Yeah.
way, and then I can talk to Janet and talk about maybe we wanna put it on just to rezone.
Okay.
Maybe that'd be the way to do it, assuming a major home occupation is, this is allowed in a major home
That'd be
occupation.
simpler than we're not opening up the whole ag district.
Right, yep. I think it might be allowed as a major home occupation in the current ordinance.
So, if this does get rezoned and we, buy that little spot of land there, will we be able to put a house there?
Actually, transitional is easier to put a house than, ag. Your lot sizes are smaller.
Okay.
But then you'd still fall under the commercial building
With a house?
No,
No.
just with your business.
Okay.
with your business.
Just the building that you're.
This is all new to me,
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm a hands-on guy,
It's all
all this
good.
stuff,
No, I get it.
Like baby.
Alright, so we're looking for a motion to rezone this section?
No,
Is that what you're doing?
No.
we're changing the ordinance.
Verbiage saying that,
Yeah, I think if you guys, let's just assume for a second that we can't get it done by, rezoning it to transitional. I think it would make sense, if you want him to be, to have the opportunity to apply, to just recommend approval to this, and we'll have it sorted out by the meeting next week, and we can either just scrap this and go to a rezone at the meeting next week.
Yeah, so we're basically not gonna try and redo the ag district, we're just trying to rezone.
That, yeah, but I would approve it tonight, the way that it's on the agenda.
Okay.
For recommendation, with the caveat, I mean, if you guys want to, with the caveat that if we can possibly rezone that the board consider doing that instead of changing the ag district.
But if we approve it, wouldn't that change all our ag districts?
Well, okay, no,
Yes, yep.
it
It'd be a
it
recommendation
would
for it.
from now till next week,
Yep.
but.
Well, it
It
doesn't
wouldn't-
actually
it
change
wouldn't
anything,
actually
it's
change
just a
No,
recommendation.
Yeah, it's
till
just a
next
recommendation, but when it gets to the board, if we rezone that area, then it would just be that area, not the whole ag district.
I'd like that.
Can that just be,
motion.
can that just be
But
your
the problem is we
recommendation?
can't consider that tonight because it's
No.
not on the agenda, so the only thing you can consider is whether to recommend approval of amending the ag district language to allow this.
Is there a motion for
I
that?
make a motion to recommend the ag district to add automotive maintenance and repair facility as a possible special exception.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Alright,
Thank you.
any more discussion?
Why are you laughing?
Do we want, does we say anything about,
Because it's-
oh, we're
it's-
recommending to the board that we do
Yeah,
that second one?
I don't think you guys need to say that in your
Okay,
motion,
alright.
but I assume that you got, is there anybody that objects to me talking to Janet about
No.
putting it on as a,
No.
okay,
No.
that's what we'll do then.
so if they
I appreciate
rezone that, we would literally scratch this whole thing, or
Correct.
this will still go through?
Correct.
So
This
what,
is
Okay.
just to
what do we
move it
do?
on.
Yeah,
You're
let's,
good.
yep, we're good.
Good,
So we're covered both ways.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing.
So where do we stand now?
you're good.
So,
We'll let you know next week.
so do we come here again next week?
Yes,
Yes.
either way, next week you'll come. It's just a matter of whether we can rezone it or not. I have to look at the home occupation language to determine whether this would be allowable as a home occupation. If it is, then I think the better course is just to rezone your parcel,
Just that spot?
yes,
Okay.
I think
as opposed to amending the whole
Oh,
ordinance.
for sure,
And
yeah.
it'll go faster for you to do it this way as well.
I have a lot of big words to look up when I get
Yeah.
home.
Me too.
Alright, do we need a roll call? Or we just?
Yeah, go ahead.
Roll call.
What are we on? Stacy,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
me, yes. Jeremy,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Mike?
Okay. Alright, good,
We're
thank
good?
you. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time.
See you next week.
Alright, this next one's a can of worms too, I think, but, item 9, discussion on the definition of lot.
Thank you.
Lot.
You guys are.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Of lot width in the zoning ordinance and consider amending. Did you guys read through that?
Yeah. Kinda, I'm kinda
I think it's
confusing.
it would be somewhat straightforward if you had a square lot, and I think where we're running into trouble is, like pie shape, odd shaped lots. And Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, you know, it's saying you have to give, what, 3 inches per foot for lot size, but it's like, where in that pie shape do you measure that width? You know, is it at the narrow part or the wide part? Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah, Ben actually caught this when he was looking at a request, and what's that?
You confirmed.
No, I did. No, but he originally caught this, and the way that it reads is unclear, I think, and he thinks, as to how it, unless I'm putting words in your mouth, Ben.
No.
As to how you interpret that average distance between the side lot line and the setback line. What is the setback line? So what we were trying to do was see if you guys wanted to try to clarify this a little bit, so when Ben gets a question of where can I put the edge of my house, he's able to actually pull up the ordinance, read it, and then provide an answer. And I think we had trouble providing an answer to I was gonna call him a customer, a citizen. A customer.
So right now it has no determination on where your building goes.
Well, it's just hard to tell how you calculate lot width.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but if you're, say you have a pie-shaped lot, it's 3 feet on one end and 150 feet on the other, you know, does it reference where your building is on that lot to determine setbacks?
It doesn't, and that's the problem with the way this is worded. Correct.
So
Well,
can
wouldn't
we tie it?
wouldn't the width, I mean, excuse me, but wouldn't the width technically usually be, you know, like where you enter your property? And the length would be.
But what if you wanna put a shed in the back of your property, you know, I mean, but if you put it in the tip of the pie.
Oh, in the pie shape,
then you're in trouble.
Well, here's the
well,
question,
no,
Rick.
not necessarily, cause if you use trigonometry, you still get on a pie shape, okay, you got a pie shape, right?
Yeah.
You still get your side widths. These widths would be narrower than the peak
I
of the.
get that, but that's what I'm saying, is that is in relationship to where your building is on the lot. Right now, our language doesn't call for that.
So let's just say we wanted to determine the width of that lot, right there, that's in red.
Yep.
Using this definition, Rick, tell me what it is. I don't think you could do that using this definition.
Oh, okay, using this definition.
Yeah.
Correct.
I see.
That's what we're trying to clarify.
So what do you recommend that we change it to? Legally.
What do other people do, Ben? Other towns or?
I don't know that anybody has one.
Okay.
I've never actually seen it.
Except you come across somebody wanting to apply for something and.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen the lot width as the street frontage, but when you got a lake, it's hard to use your street frontage as your lot width.
Well, yeah, because then you have wider parameters on your.
Here's what I don't understand is why they use the setback line. So if you said to me the average width of that lot between the two exterior sides, I could figure that out, right? Because you go up to one side and you go up the other side and you're 50 feet this way and then you're over and you're up, and you could figure that out, but I can't figure it out when you throw in there the setback line business.
That's 3 inches per foot.
No, that's easy.
Don't we have a 20-foot setback? You can't build anything 20 feet?
No.
That's not what this is?
No, well, kind of is how to figure out that setback on an individual piece of property.
But I don't know why it has anything to do with the lot line.
If it was a pie and we have a setback from the edge that you can't build, you're not gonna be able to put it up in the corner because it wouldn't fit within the guidelines, right?
Our language now is,
I'm trying to find the house that.
our language now says you get 3 feet per inch. No, you get 3 inches per
Per
foot.
foot of lot width with no single seam.
40% of.
My God. Yeah. It gets confusing. You can't just throw a generic number out and say it
So
applies
that
to
20
everything.
foot is based off of what your lot size is? Or
No,
like, I'm in
that
commercial, I
20
know I have a 20-foot setback on my property,
In your
I can't
commercial.
build anything.
That's because
It used to be 16,
your
now it's
lot's
20.
probably
Acre and a half.
Right, it meets the minimum standard. This is only for lots that are less than 100.
Less than 8
Existing
feet
lots that are
wide.
less than 100 feet in width. Then they get, because they don't have the 100 feet, obviously then they're gonna reduce that, what you need for side yards.
Isn't this,
But to reduce that,
well,
that's
how
where
does
we
this get,
can't
like,
figure
tight
out
on-
what you use.
Aren't they don't they have an exception for setbacks too?
Yeah, and this really isn't dealing with the setbacks, this is just dealing with how do we actually calculate it?
Yeah.
And once you figure out how to calculate it, then you can determine the setbacks, but there's a number of ways to do it, and you can do it at the narrowest part, or you can do it on average between the two, you know, widest parts of it. And we can even do the arc of an angle deal for the pie-shaped lots. You can do that, but this one really just doesn't do it. And if you guys want, I can throw at you for the next meeting a couple of different definitions for you to
See
look
what
at.
other townships or whatever somebody else has got written and see if
You know what, I don't even know that we need to go with whatever makes the most sense, not because somebody else.
Well, that's what I
did it, you
mean,
know?
well, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm going at, if somebody has something that makes perfect sense,
That's fine, as long as we're not into trigonometry, you know, not being-
trick's easy, trick's easy.
You gotta calculate.
Just ask your phone, it'll do it for you now.
They will.
Alright, so we're giving Adam the go-ahead to, investigate the most sensible way to figure out.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if I could find like the town of Garfield's. Just see what theirs says, just so you guys have something, but I can bring it next week too.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think they put their ordinance on there.
This more hits us with
Well,
smaller
either way,
lots.
would it even go to the board
Only
next week?
smaller lots.
Do we
Only
have a lot
back
of
here.
smaller lots?
Next
come back to you
If you're
guys.
not in a commercial
Okay.
district, then you're in a, do we have housing developments
Well,
and all
actually,
that kind of
that's-
stuff where it's little bitty quarter acre lots or whatever it is?
Find for the life of
Not in the
me
commercial
where.
district.
Well, I'm saying in the township,
Yeah.
we have them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that Wilbur, the township? Or Steve?
but it makes sense if they build the road in and it does
Yeah.
this, you're gonna end up with all these weird
Yeah,
shapes all the
Yeah,
way around.
especially you get
These
around
cul-de-sacs and things like
Especially
that.
you get around water.
This was
Yep.
a
you know.
lake one, and toy for the life of me. I just
Alright,
can't
so
find it.
this will get brought back to us next month.
Yeah, we're giving Adam permission to do his thing.
I will get you some, examples to choose from.
Alright,
You're the man,
even if we have to start one.
I don't care what anybody says, Adam, you're cool.
There's something else there.
Anybody have any public comment now?
No, not really, we're just kind of listening in, cause it's very interesting.
And going to be something we have to figure
Well,
out.
yes, we gotta catch up on too.
Alright, well, is there any other business?
So do we have to make a recommendation for Adam, or do we just leave it go? Just-
No, I don't need a motion, I know what you want me to do.
Any other business for future agenda items that you, have in your head? No? Alright, I don't have any updates on anything else either, so looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Of course, I found a lot now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You wanna see the lot?
No, it makes sense though.